You are listening to And That's Okay, the podcast devoted to encouraging you to live in your truth in a society where reality is not what's socially popular. This is a platform where you could be a novice about anything and feel comfortable about it. Let's have the conversations we all wish we had years ago and want to hear more of. Nothing is off limits and there is no shame or judgment here. Join me as I navigate life, marriage, friendships, finances, career, and whatever else life throws at me. Listen, doing all this self-work is bound to piss a few people off, and that's okay. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Angelique Royale. Let's get into it. All right, we are back with another episode. In this episode, I do have another special guest, you guys. So this episode will be dropping around Mother's Day, and I thought it would be pretty neat if I brought my own mother on my podcast and had some conversations about mother-daughter relationships. Now, before I introduce her, I want to say when I first asked her about being on the podcast, she made me feel like I was out there. Like I had a big podcast. She was like, "You want me to be on your podcast?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, why not? Like, why wouldn't I want you on my podcast?" And I felt truly honored that she looked at me that way. And it just was like, oh yeah, now I really got to, get this thing popping. My mom think I'm a big deal. So I'm a big deal. She think I'm a big deal. So I'm going to let her introduce herself to you guys.
Hi, my people. I'm Pauline, Angie's mom. How you guys doing? I'm super nervous and excited at the same time. I hope that I say something that's beneficial, that's encouraging. That's my goal.
That sounds good. We'll have a good conversation basically about our mother-daughter relationship and how that was with me growing up and to where I'm at now and all the good stuff and your relationship with grandma. So we're just going to jump right into it. So I wanted to start off with the basis of our relationship. Now, I know you and grandma had a relationship. I just want to know like how that affected ours. Like if you took anything from your relationship with her and brought it up and was like, this is how I'm going to raise my daughter, or these traits is exactly what I want to have with my daughter. Because I know based on our relationship now, myself take that as when I have a daughter, I want these things to have with my daughter as well.
Well, I'm the first of 5. So my mom had me when she was young in high school. A lot of times I used to ask her some things and just to get some insight on just life in general. And a lot of times she used to say, oh, we growing up together. What you're learning, I'm learning. We're learning together. So just growing up, it was more like a friendship that her and I had versus, of course she was my mom. But our relationship was mainly a very friendly relationship. I was a good child, so I didn't get disciplined much. But a lot of things that she instilled in me as far as a foundation as to what she instilled in me was pretty basic of any mom. She provided a roof and, food and, just general knowledge of life. So, I'm very grateful for what I learned from her. But it wasn't until I had you that I really started to understand what it was like to be a parent, to really set goals and foundations and things like that for your children. My mom pretty much gave me what she can give me. And she used to always say that I was her first love. And that just melted my heart every time she said that. And when I think about it today, it still does the same thing. But I understand exactly what she meant by that once I had you.
Okay.
So, yeah, you was my first love as well. And you still are.
Oh, so much love.
But growing up, I want, just like any parent, I wanted to give you what I didn't have. Like I said before, the one thing that I wanted to give you that I didn't have was a decent education and the encouragement to get one.
Okay.
Because like I said, my mom, she had me in high school, so her education pretty much stopped there. I had you pretty young, so I wasn't able to go to college. And it wasn't until you started putting that idea in my head that that's what you wanted to go, where, I'm like, okay, college, huh? Okay, what is this? What do I have to do to get you there? I haven't saved any money. I haven't done anything like that. So, let's see where this goes. As far as the foundation goes, that's what my mom instilled in me. And by me becoming a parent, that's what I wanted to instill in you, the importance of education.
And that makes sense. Because I am the first to go to college in our family.
Yes. The first of a lot of things, really.
Yeah, the first. I feel like I'm probably my purpose is the generational curse breaker of this family.
Yes, I agree.
Because of a lot of things that I've done as being the first. And even with you and grandma taught me what like unconditional love was. And it makes sense if she told you that, you were my first love. So she gave you that unconditional love, which then you poured into me. And it was just like a waterfall. I'm getting a little choked up. It makes me feel so good inside.
Yeah.
But it was just from that, let me get myself together. It was just from knowing that how that pours down.
Yeah.
And just flow. It's just like crazy because you don't really like take a minute to stop and think about that. And it is deep because even with grandma and me being the first grandchild, she still had enough of that to pour into me.
Right.
And her grandchildren. It's
right
just like
after
crazy.
You. Yeah. Because I'm quite sure Bayana can attest to this. Shay could, you know what I mean? They were the two right after you. Yeah, I'm quite sure they'll probably express the same thing. Your grandma was awesome. And I think as she got older, she got better as far as parenting. Yeah. And I think the same thing is going to happen with me. I'm not a grandma yet, hint, hint. But when I become one, I think that I'm going to be an awesome grandma. I really do. I'm looking forward to it. And I think, just this time now that I'm growing and I'm learning more and how the way things are changing, with the kids today, that I think I'm going to be an awesome grandma. Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Y'all, she putting the hints out there. If y'all ain't catch that. If she ain't
Michael, I know you listening.
Putting them hints out there.
Yeah. But I think y'all, I think you and Mike gonna be awesome parents as well. You both are two great people. I love you both to death, so I'm quite sure you guys gonna be good parents as well. So I just can't wait.
Yeah. And that's kind of like our foundation of our relationship was just like I wasn't a child that always got in trouble. I wasn't one that did anything bad. I mean, every child has their moments where they may have snuck and done this and snuck and done that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like I was over the top and always doing this and always doing that. And Angie always getting in this and Angie always doing that. Like, I'm sick tired of this girl. 1 minute is this and 1 minute was that. That definitely wasn't our relationship growing up. I mean, I think like the most I probably got like on punishment a couple times, or you can't go outside, or you can't do this, but it was nothing crazy where it was just like, you're out of line. Like, I'm sending you away, or I'm sending you here, or I'm sending you there. I would say I was a pretty good kid.
You was. You were awesome. You really was. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better daughter if I got down on my knees and prayed to God. I thank God all the time for who you are, who you were, who you are, and who you becoming. I do, and I'm not just saying that because I'm your mom. I don't have to worry about you. I haven't had to worry about you. It just seemed like everything that you're doing, not trying to pump you up. But I mean, I'm being honest. Everything that you touch is pretty much just turning into gold. And I'm just sitting back here and I'm just watching everything and I'm patting my own self on the back like, okay, Mom, you know. You know, it wasn't hard. And that's how it is with God. When God is in the middle of something, it's not hard. It's easy. It's easy, and you were very easy. You know, just like you said, you had some moments where you done a few things, and yeah, you probably got on punishment. But ask me right now what they were. I have no idea.
I don't even remember. I
can't remember anything, and nothing is coming to mind right now. You know, yeah, I'm trying to think. Nothing is coming to mind where it was just so outrageous. Or, you know, so disappointing. I can't even say you ever disappointed me. I can't even say that, you know. So, hey, keep up the good work, kid, and pass it on to your own kids. Exactly.
I know, because growing up, I am my only child. I have brothers on my dad's side, but growing up in my house, it was just me. I was the only child, and it was like, I mainly stayed to myself.
Spoil you.
That's
the only thing.
Staying to myself.
Spoil you.
But I was a good kid, though. So it wasn't like I was spoiled and bad, and I still got what I wanted. It was one of those that, like, if I did ask for it, I got it.
You got it, yeah.
I did ask for it, and I got it.
Yeah, that's true. Yep, I tried to give you whatever you asked for because of that reason. And because I didn't want you to go to anyone else and depend on anyone else to give you anything. I wanted you to see what love really felt like for someone who just genuinely love you, and not that you have to go and do this. If you do this, I give you that. You know, so I didn't want you to grow up with that kind of love. No, I didn't. So that's why I gave you everything that you asked for with, you know, I'm not going to say with no problem, but you pretty much got it.
Yeah. And that makes sense too, because even now as an adult, I'm pretty self-dependable. Like I don't really
rely on
anyone or allow to myself to get to a place of, I'm going to need so-and-so for this, or I need to go and ask so-and-so for that. Like even when I moved out when I was 21, 22 in my first year of making it through.
Okay.
What?
I just was going to say, I don't know. Didn't you graduate college at 22?
21.
Oh, 21? Okay.
I was 21 when I graduated college, I think I moved out 22.
Okay, all right.
And my first year of living on my own, I was proud because it was like I didn't have to run back to my mom for anything.
Oh my God, yes.
I didn't have to, Mom, could you help me pay this bill?
Not
Mom, could you help me pay that bill? Mom, I'm short on this. And it was just like, it was a huge accomplishment. Like, I survived. Like, I remember posting that on like Facebook, like, oh, it was my first year and I did this and I didn't have to run back home. That was a big accomplishment that shows that you instilled that in me to be self-dependable.
Amen.
Don't depend on anybody for anything. Like, I'm going to pour this into you so that don't nobody else have to pour it into you. You know how to pour it into yourself.
That's right. You know how to take care of yourself. You know, the main thing is your resources. You just have to have more than one resource. And that's pretty much the foundation. And also stability. That's one thing I wanted to instill in you was stability, because me growing up, my mom used to move like every year. Oh my God, I hated it. We have to go to a new school. I have to meet new friends. And the only thing I used to dream of was just being in a space long enough to get a best friend. I never had a best friend. You'd be like, Mom, why you ain't got, you know, people, well, I ain't gonna say you, but people, why you don't have no friends? Like, that's how I grew up. And you don't know a person until you know how they grew up.
Yeah, you weren't around. Yeah, you weren't around anybody long enough to develop a best friend relationship.
So a lot of times when I had friends, it was like, oh, I'm not getting too close because I'm only going to leave.
Right.
So, why even, become that close with you or get that close with you? But with you, definitely wanted stability. I wanted you to know what it felt like to go to the same junior high school for 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
Go to the same high school for
4 years.
4 years. So I wanted you to know that feeling. I wanted you to know who the next door neighbor was and become friends with them, So that was very, very important to me for you. And I accomplished that. I did. I'm proud of myself for that because ever since I instilled that in you, I kept that going. And I still keep it going today. Stability is very important in anything, even at your job.
Yeah.
Even at your job, you got a stable job, you can get anything you want. You in a stable relationship, no matter what happens, you guys gonna work it out because your foundation is stability.
Yeah, because even the house, we moved there when I was in the 5th grade, and you didn't move until, what was that, 2015? 2016?
Here, yeah.
I was already out the house for like 3-4 years by then. Yeah. I stayed in that house, and you didn't move into another house until like 4 years after I had moved out.
Yeah. So like, that house we was there for like 20 years almost. Never been in a place that long. Never been in a place. Even my job. Been in my job 20 years. Oh my God. It's an awesome feeling. It is. I mean, I don't know if, a lot of people grew up that way, but for me, I didn't grow up with, I don't know if I should say a stable home. I don't know if that's the right thing to say. But just a stable
but like you just kept
environment,
moving.
maybe?
Yeah, you just kept moving.
Yeah, so... Well, just being able to accomplish that now is like a huge pat on the back to me. To me. And then now that I know that not only do you have a stable job, not only, did you stay in college and you have a degree, now you have a husband. That's another stable place. You're stable.
Out in these streets, as they call it.
Yeah, you're not out in these streets, And all those things make me so proud of you. It is. They do. They make me so proud of you. And I know you're not going to do nothing but continue to go forward and whatever else you do. And it's going to be stable.
So what is it like parenting me now as an adult? Do you feel like, well, of course it's less, because I'm older, I have my own husband, soon I have my own family down the line. It's just like, do you kind of at any point miss when I wouldn't say depend, but was like, Mom, could you help? Mom, I need Mom.
Heck no. No, I do not miss that. Nope. I can keep my money to myself. Now when we go to the mall, we go out to dinner, you pay. Oh my God, thank you, Jesus. So no, I do not miss that at all. I think now it's just the conversation is just different. That's all. We just have different conversations now. We have, grown women conversations. Right. That's what we have. Right. So, and I'm enjoying it. I enjoy bouncing stuff off of you. I value your opinion. I think you made a whole lot of smart choices in your life. So I don't mind sharing with you and getting your perspective on things. So yeah, that's parenting now for me. Our dialogue is just different. And I like it.
And that's funny because I seen a post on Facebook and it was just like, our mom used to be when we were younger, like, I'm not one of your little girlfriends. And it's like, oh, well, look at us now. Like, young girl, I'm not your little girlfriend. You ain't gonna da-da-da. And now we're older, it's just like, it's more of like a friendship.
Yeah.
We have like that mother-daughter friendship where like we could have the conversations and talk, like you said, grown woman talk.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like, oh, like you're not mature enough to talk about this yet.
Right.
Or this is a little, like I'm not comfortable having this conversation, because you just wait till you get a little bit older, then we can sit so that you can better understand what I'm trying to teach you and things like that. So, and
that's just it. You have a better understanding now of this world and how it works and the people in it. So now, our conversations are pretty much on the same level. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy our conversations a lot. It's like you're my best friend now. You're my best friend.
Besties.
Yeah. I guess, as you get older, you just start to appreciate moments and times and situations that we had in the past. And, looking back, it's nothing that I would change. I think I did a good job. You think I did a good job?
You did a very good job, Mom. And I'm not being biased because you are my mother, but I've heard of some other situations and people, what they went through, and I just was like, wow, like my mom just, she wouldn't do that to me, or like she would, like that wouldn't even cause her thought process. Like that's like so crazy. Yeah. And I understand like people go through different experiences and sometimes don't really know, and you kind of got to give your parents grace, because it's basically they're going off based of their experiences and what they think is best.
Right.
And they're still learning too, because there is no parenting book that tells you this is exactly what you need to do and this is how you're supposed to do it.
Every kid is different. Every parent is different. Yep.
Yeah. So like I definitely, feel blessed that God chose you to be my mom.
Oh, thank you.
Because some of the other situations, I just feel like I couldn't even like imagine that. Like, yo, your mom makes you feel like that? Like, no. Like, I grew up, I was reprimanded when I needed to be, but like other than that, like I had unconditional love. It wasn't no times where I felt like, oh, my mom don't love me. She did this and that, and she don't love me. And it was like, no, like I was bad. And even as like an adult now, like looking back, I understand being older, like, okay, well, the way this world is now, that's why you were so, made sure, like, let me know where you're here. Tell me the address, the phone number, when you're leaving, what flight you getting on, what time you coming back, where you going, who gonna be there. Now I understand it because, like, the world is so crazy, but when you're young, you're just like, oh my God, she just want all this information. Like,
but that's just a form of communication. That's all it is. It's just, you just communicating with me, letting me know what's what, letting me know where you're going to be, what time you should be there, and what time, you're going to be departing. And especially when you took flights,
yeah.
And I just went on my first flight, last summer?
Yeah.
My very first one, and you done been on like 100 of them already. So, of course, me not knowing what actual process and, what's need to be done or what doesn't need to be done, and how the whole process of taking a flight work. Of course, I want to know what flight you on. I want to know your hotel room. I want to know everything, even though you didn't go out with a lot of guys. But when you went out on a date, what did I want?
You wanted where I was going.
And what else? And then I take license plates.
Type of car, what the car looked like. She was not playing, y'all. If I popped up, took it too long to reply to a message or a phone call, she was gonna be on it.
And that was it. That's all I needed was, even when you went to college and you was like 5.5, 6 hours away, all I needed was just a text every day. You didn't have to call me. You didn't have to do anything. All you had to do was text me, "Good morning, Mom." And I was good. Next day, "Good afternoon, Mom." I was good. Long as some time of that day,
some type of communication.
That you gave me each day, and I was fine. And I'm still that way today. We don't talk every day, but if you take longer, what's our limit now? Maybe like 3 days.
Yeah, I think like a couple of days. If we don't hear it from
we
each
don't,
other,
exactly.
we feel like, wait, it's been a little too long. Like, hold on, hey.
Let me find out what's
okay?
going on. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I just ain't talk to you. Or if it's been texting too long, it'd be like, let me call my mom. I ain't hear her voice in a minute. Like, hey, mom, I don't want much, but, I just want to hear your voice. And,
exactly.
You okay? You good? I know.
I feel the same way. Yep, I feel the same way. So it's just a form of communication. That's all. Yeah. And I think, just like you said, the way it is in this world today, I think a lot of parents should be that way.
Yeah, because it's communication when you look at it in a nutshell. It's just let me know where you are. It's not to say, oh, I just want to pop up on you. It's like, no, let me know where you are in case anything's happened. I have a starting point or an ending point to come and say, okay, well, this is where she was at this time.
Right.
She should have been here.
Right.
And it's like, it builds trust too because, okay, you were where you were supposed to be. You came home, everything went fine. So next time you go, I'm a little bit looser, but I still want to know all this information just in case anything happens. Because even like with me living at home and we'll go out, like I remember, let me know you got in the house, or when you come in, you wouldn't sleep. You couldn't get into a deep sleep until I came through the door.
Thank God those days are over.
You couldn't get into a deep sleep until I came through the door.
I couldn't rest. No.
Right, and you knew that I was home safe. Then you're like, all right, that her? Okay.
I'm quite sure a lot of parents can relate to that.
Yeah.
If you don't, once you come in, all your kids is in the house and, you able to go through the house and, lock everything up behind them. It's just a sense of peace, then you can rest.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just having that sense of peace.
Hey, I remember those days. Like, I couldn't sleep till you came home. Like, you were still up. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, Mom. I was like, all right.
You just never know,
No, I completely understand
You gotta make sure you are right.
Like, you home now. They got GPS on the phone and locations on the phone now, where it's just like, okay, let me see where she at. Kids, parents and their kids now can see where their location is. Like, turn your location on so I can see where you at. So I definitely understand. Like, I was in a time where that wasn't too popular with GPS and location and technology. So it was just like, you just waited for me you went to bed, but it wasn't like you wasn't falling into a deep sleep until you knew for sure that I was in this house.
Yeah, I'm so glad those days are over with.
Sleep like a baby now.
That's right. Now it's my problem.
It is. Mike, I worry about it.
Yep.
Speaking of Mike, so when I got married, I want to get your point of view too, because everyone has like a different perspective of how things went. And on the podcast, I gave mine. When I did the episode with Mike, I gave his. And you, as my mother, I want to get yours from a mother's point of view and you can even talk about the proposal and all that and just your feelings leading up to that day and from the day it actually happened.
All that, huh?
It don't have to be all that. You can sum it up, but just to give you a basis.
I mean, it was an exciting moment. It was. I was the day Mike proposed. We was here. Was house. It Christmas? Yeah, it was Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
And it was expected, but it wasn't expected. So it was a very exciting moment. I don't even know what to say about that day. I mean, it was just so many emotions just, going through my mind at the time and through everyone. I mean, everyone that was here was just so excited for you guys and just knew that it was just a matter of time. And leading up to the wedding, again, it was just an experience. You're my only daughter, so I'm only gonna get to probably do this once. So I wanted to be involved as much as you would let me. So that wasn't that much. It wasn't much that I had to do, but the parts that I did have, I was very thankful to do them. The actual wedding day was overwhelming. Like I said, a lot of emotions. It was very emotional. It was, now I have to pass you off to this man. Even though Mike is a good guy. He is. But now I have to pass you off to him, and like anything that you would come to me with, now it's like, okay, you have a whole husband now. So now you need to, really solve your problems, life problems with him. Of course, I'm still here for advice, and we sit and we bust it up all the time, but just life in general. Now you have a partner. So that was just overwhelming to me. I just have to pass you off. But I want to piggyback on something that Mike said when he was on the last episode, and he was saying how it was raining outside. The venue was calling me, asking me, what do we want to do as far as the wedding, the ceremony being inside or outside. So I had to go to my future son-in-law and pull him to the side. And yeah, we did. We went to a window that was at the hotel, and I'm asking him, Mike, what do you want to do? What do you think we should do? And just like he said, there was a dare that appeared out of nowhere. At the same time that dare appeared, the sun also came out, and a rainbow. And when we both standing, I think we was like on the third or fourth floor, looking down into this open field. Don't know where this dare came from. Don't know where this dare came from. So we're standing, we're standing at the window, and we looking down, and the next thing you know, we looked at each other and we like, that's a sign. And we both agreed that was a sign to move forward with the ceremony being outside. And that was a moment that him and I shared. And it's a moment that I would never forget throughout the whole day of the wedding, because it was just so intimate with me and him, and just to have all those things appear at one time. And it was just raining on and off all day. And we weren't expecting to see any of those.
Right.
So just that day and that moment right there is the one moment that I remember the most about the wedding, because I think for me, like I said, it gave me and Mike a moment. And sometimes that's all you have is moments.
It's a moments, right?
And that's something that I would never forget sharing with him. But I also remember him crying. Sorry, Mike. I also remember him, tearing up at the altar. And you as well, that's another moment that I would never forget, that the two of you shared on that day. It was just, little things like that really stood out to me on that day. And like I said, there's just moments, not necessarily the reception or the music or the food or anything like that. It was just moments like that really, stick in my head.
Okay. That's pretty good. I like hearing everyone's point of view, because I have mine as being the bride and the talk of the day, and just you have the bride's perspective, but then you don't really hear the groom, or you don't hear the parents and how they felt and what they were going through that day. So that was nice to get your side and hear it.
Yeah, it was a lot of good moments. Of course, you guys with the smoke machine, and Mike going down to get the garter, and he threw it to your Uncle Tony, and he just so coolly put his hand up, and it flew in his hand. It was just a lot of things that happened. The father-daughter dance, the mother-son dance. It was a day. It was an awesome day. Everything was just, it just flowed very nicely. It was very well put together. Everything was just so beautiful.
It's a day to remember. Got pictures and video for it.
Yeah, of course. You can go back and, reminisce anytime you like. Show your children, hint, hint. Yeah, I can show them whatever.
All right, to wrap this episode up, do you have any words of wisdom or encouragement to moms out there that may be like struggling with their daughter relationships, or any daughters that might be struggling with their mom relationships, or not necessarily don't have to be struggling, but just any words of encouragement for like mother-daughter relationships that might be, you know, not the best and they want it to be better?
The only thing that comes to mind is respect. You know, respect your daughters. Moms, respect your daughters. Regardless of their age, they still deserve some form of respect. Daughters, definitely respect your mom, because there is no parenting manual on how to be the perfect mom or how to be the perfect daughter. We pretty much have to just go with the flow. We have to evaluate the situations. We have to do our best. And I think if you do your best without too many expectations, I think the relationship will be successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you don't have high expectations, then you're just kind of going into it.
I mean, you should have some expectations, but yeah, like you said, if you don't have high expectations, just, expect what you expect. But, if you don't get what you expect, don't become disappointed, because you know what your child is capable of. Sometimes we put high expectations on our kids and we know that they're never going to reach that.
Right.
So, you just have to take baby steps. Eventually they will get there. Some children take longer than others to comprehend certain things. Stay focused and lead by example. Lead by example. How you want your child to be, you need to lead. You need to live that life. If you want them to be professional, respectful, carry themselves a certain way, then you need to carry yourself that way. They need to see you do it, and then they will follow.
Yeah, I agree. Because a lot of stuff I do, I got it from seeing you do it. Like, I see my mom do it. I know my mom done that, and it just is what's familiar.
Yeah, and a lot of parents don't get that. That your kids are watching you, especially mothers and daughters. Your daughter is watching everything that you do, because if you think about it, you're their example. Exactly, you're their role model. You're who they see every day. Your conversation, what you do, how you do it, how you respond to things. Yeah, you have to remember that your daughter is watching you. And pray.
Prayer works.
Prayer works. Trust me. Prayer works. And not, I didn't have to pray a lot for you, but actually I did. But you know what? Once I prayed, I left it alone. It's not like I was continually praying every day for you. But I prayed certain prayers, and then I just left it alone. And then when I see you going in a certain direction, I know my prayers are being answered. But when you come, like if you go through something, which you have in the past, you will go through something, you be like, Mom, can you pray for me? This and that is happening. And I'll be like, okay, Angie, I'm going to do it, And then I'll pray for you, and then I'll just, for your situation or whatever, and then I'll leave it alone. And then you will call me like a couple of weeks later. Oh, Mom, I got through that. Oh, thank you for your prayers. So, yeah, prayer does work. It does. Yes, it do. Thank you, Lord.
Amen. I'll add for the daughters out there, if you're have your relationship with your mother and it's not where you would like it to be, or you feel like it could be better, I would definitely say give your mom or your parents grace, because it's all about what they've been through and what they experience. And what I've learned being older is that the more conversations I had with my mother about her growing up allowed me to understand her parenting and the way she made the decisions that she did. And I didn't hold anything against her. It was just more of like an understanding, like, okay, that makes sense. If I was younger, I didn't understand this, but now being older, I'm bringing the conversation back up and I'm like, okay, I understood where you were coming from. I know some relationships where you think your mother was doing it on purpose, and it was just like, no, she probably was doing the best that she possibly knew to do, and it had nothing to do with you. It was just her only way she knew how to protect you. So definitely have the conversation. If you have some things that you want to clear up or you didn't understand that she did when you were younger, sit down now as an adult and talk to her and just be like, Ma, I just want to bring this up, and what was your way of thinking, and why did you do things this way? Because this also helps you break that generational curse, so you're not repeating it with your children because it made you feel some type of way when you were younger, and then you don't know why, and you're doing it to your child and your child's doing it to their child. It breaks that generational curse when you have that conversation and being open. Now that you're an adult, you should be able to at least have open adult conversations with your parents and truly, learn how they were brought up. And especially if you have grandparents, your grandmother too, like I wish I would have had more conversations with her about her growing up to understand what it was like back in the day. Like, I wasn't born until the late 80s. She was born in the 1950s. So it's like, just to have that knowledge and that history of how things were, definitely have these conversations. It's communication, and this is how you learn and understand people better, because no one's perfect. And there is no manual out here of how to have these relationships and how to parent children and how to, understand your parents better. There is no manual, but you can always have a conversation to try and understand on a different level.
Yes. Angie, I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, Mom.
You are just so awesome. You are. And I thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
I thank you for coming on. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you walked away with some valuable information. Make sure to follow the podcast on IG at And That's Okay Podcast. You can connect with me directly on there. Looking forward to the next episode. Remember to spread love, kindness, and make the choices that bring you peace.